Hi y'all, Joni here with Tuna and Yaya to bring you a guided reading for our full moon today, the full moon in Aries. The full moon in Aries is a big one as it is all about you and being able to have courage to fight for the things you believe in. So knowing that the full moon is a time for us to, a time that the world helps to shed light on things that we need to work through, this may be a big one for a good bit of you. So pay attention, ask for guidance. Hopefully this reading will give you some of what to focus on for this full moon cycle till we get to that new moon and want to plant some new seeds that maybe we've actually cleared a path for at this point. So I'm going to use my Tarot Cat deck. This is New Orleans Tarot Cat. This is from a lovely artist, a local artist here. I'm very happy with this deck. I use it often. I'm going to shuffle, and the first card that I'm going to pull for this full moon cycle, there's going to be 7 cards here. The first card is going to be the focus. So the focus of what we are looking at, the focus for this full moon cycle. And the focus is going to be the Chariot. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I think that's really cool because I was just talking about how this Aries full moon is all about you taking courage to decide and to move forward in what is best for you, to have courage to fight for the things that you want to fight for, to know what you need to uncover so that way you can move forward. The Chariot card is all about that when it comes to focus. It is a card that represents being able to steer your life in the direction that you choose, taking the reins, recognizing that you most likely have more control over certain things than maybe you think you do. So take that into consideration as we go into the next card. The next card that I'm pulling is going to be, this is going to be what's maybe being lit up for you, what this full moon cycle is illuminating for you. If it hasn't started to come into focus yet, this illumination, be mindful that you can ask for guidance on what it is, and this card may even help you to know what it is. This is what is going to be illuminated, and this is the 7 of Cups. The 7 of Cups. Illusions, doubts. There's often very many ways a story can play out, any of our stories, right? And sometimes we get so attached to how we want a story to play out that we forget that there's other ways that it can be written. There's other futures to be in, that are in store for us. So being attached to any one outcome typically will lead us into that space of frustration and anger and not wanting the change. So in order to get into that, that's what's going to be illuminated for you. Maybe you'll see some new ways a story can play out for yourself. Maybe you'll just recognize that you're attached to a certain ending of a story. All right, now why is this coming up for you? That's what I'm asking the cards now. Why is this coming up for you? And the card here is the 2 of Swords. Interesting, because 2 of Swords generally represents being at a crossroads, being able to find balance in a situation that you're in, recognizing that you might be on the fence about a certain decision. And it's okay to be on the fence about decisions, right? It's okay to have patience and to wait for the time to act. A lot of times we can make impulsive decisions, and that's not wrong. Sometimes it's exactly what's needed. Sometimes it is needed that we need to wait. This is kind of saying maybe you've been waiting a little too long. Maybe you are procrastinating a little bit on this thing that you are focusing on, this illumination that is coming in, this decision that you might need to make to pull the reins of your life to start steering it in the direction that you're wanting it to go. The next card is where did this come from? So a lot of times when we're working with the full moon, we're working with shadows, we're working with psyche stuff, and we're going deeper into our own selves to try to figure out, what is it that's going on with this within ourselves that we're attracting some of the experiences that we're having. What can we change within ourselves to be able to attract something different? This Emperor card coming up for you here, where did this come from? So when we have doubts, when we have parts of those stories that we get attached to them because of ideals that we created a long time ago, right? A way that we thought that things were supposed to turn out, a way that we thought this story was supposed to play out in a certain way, and we're attached to it for a certain reason. And the reasoning is saying this, where this comes from. The Emperor, maybe there is an interesting experience in your past where someone of authority, this could be a father figure, it could be a masculine figure, could just be somebody that has some masculine energy and some authority in your past. And it could be your own inner authority. So be mindful of that as well. And this authority has maybe limited you from being able to make these decisions, has caused you to have these doubts that restrict you from taking your life and moving in the direction that you maybe really do know you want to go, but you're kind of fearful of the change. You're fearful of what could happen. You're fearful of not living up to those ideals that you've kind of put into motion for yourself that maybe don't serve you anymore. Now, how can you use this information? This is the next card. How can you use this information? Ooh, Three of Swords. Painful separation, sorrow, heartbreak. Oh gosh, that's a hard one. That's a hard one to take on. How can you start bringing this into motion for yourself? Sometimes some solitude is exactly what we need. Sometimes it's from our own inner mind because it's yapping too much. Sometimes it's from another person. Sometimes the decision that we need to make is to cut off another person completely. That's not always easy. That painful separation that we feel may be exactly what we need to gain clarity. It may be exactly what another person needs to recognize something. There's a lot of different ways that can facilitate you. So be mindful that this journey, that this full moon is taking you on, may not be easy. That decision that you've been on the fence about, this may be why, right? Because you know it's going to create this dis-ease within, and it's going to be hard to handle. It's going to be hard to sit with. Take note that the next card is your best course of action. What is your best course of action right now? The best course of action is to recognize justice, to move forward with justice. I love it when the justice card comes up because, look at this cute little cat here. When the justice card comes up, it's generally an invitation to pay attention to the justice that you have in your life, in your relationships, your relationship with yourself, your relationship in your life, the things that you do, the relationship with other people. When justice card comes up, it says, it's an invitation to say, hey, are you seeing other people's points of view, or are you kind of stuck on your own? Remember some of the other things that came up here. And then it's also a card that represents how are the scales in the relationships that you have and the different things that you take on in life, right? The different things you do, the different ways you talk to yourself, the different ways other people talk to you, the different ways you share energy with other people. Sometimes when we have certain relationships, we can find that the scales are very much in the other person's favor. Maybe we're constantly doing for this other person or giving this person our energy, and there is a need for us to rebalance that. So be mindful when that card comes up. This is the best course of action. Rebalance that energy. Shift that focus back to yourself. Remember how important you are and how beautiful the energy that you share with others is. And be appreciative of the other people's energy as well as they share it with you. But definitely recognize where those imbalances are. And then the final card is going to be the outcome for this full moon cycle, what it has to bring you, what it has to show you. And it is the Knight of Swords. When the Knight of Swords comes up, I like to tell people it's a card that can represent detachment. It's a card that can represent new information coming in, new ways to take action on things, new ideas. And so be mindful that as you continue to work through this, becoming the chariot in your own life, you will start to find that things will balance out themselves as you continue to put yourself first, as you continue to bring that focus back to you, as you continue to pay attention to the balance, as you continue not to be worried about the outcome of it, because there's many ways that it can play out for you, and you can trust that it will play out in your favor, even if it is painful to separate sometimes and detach. I hope that this helps today for you. Thank you so much for joining, and namaste.